speaker, Dr. Bhaskar Gupta. I cordially, I cordially welcome all the faculty members and students. Dr. Bhaskar Gupta is the Dean Academics, IIMT College of Polytechnic, Greater Noida. Sir is also the president of the IIC cell at his institute and has also trained, is also trained as an innovation ambassador by Ministry of Education. He has more than 2 Indian patents, 2 copyrights, and 2 book chapters in the CRC press. Notable amongst his research and development achievements are commercialization of electronic eye for blind people in collaboration with MSME Delhi, developing UAVs collaboration with Korean aerospace industries. He is also working on DRDO sponsored project on robotics and completing NASCOM-based project on software-defined radio. He has been coordinator of IIT Delhi Virtual Lab Program 6 times and nodal coordinator for IIRS ISRO Outreach Program and IITM Swayam NPTEL program. He has been taking sessions on innovation, entrepreneurship, design thinking, IPR, technology readiness level, business model canvas, critical thinking since last 10 years across the country. So the topic for today's session is how to plan for startup and legal and ethical steps. So sir, looking forward towards a very, very engaging session. So I'm just sharing your PPT.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Gitashu, thank you very much. And a very good afternoon to one and all present here. Let me thank the management of Teerthanker Mahaveer University for giving me an opportunity to express my views for today's session on how to plan startup and legal and ethical steps, which is one of the Q3 activities of IIC 4.0. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Associate Dean Academics, Dr. Manjula Jain, for giving me an opportunity. President IIC Cell. I would like to thank convener IIC Cell of TMU and the entire council members of IIC 4.0 for conducting this wonderful session on how to plan startup legal and ethical steps. Let me start with my presentation quickly. So what is a startup? Next slide, please. Next slide. Startup is usually defined as a company founded by one or more number of people, students, who are going to start, who are going to transform their idea into a startup for commercialization, for revenue generation.
Hello.
Aware of startup concept. It's a small kind of company which requires a lot of efforts in the beginning from the founders, where there is no more support, no more people who are going to provide finance or the working capital. In fact, the owner of the startup has to work as a moderate risk taker in the beginning, in the early years of any startup. If you look at the cycle of any startup, it is consisting of number of steps from ideation, where you are going to generate your idea, which you want to transform into innovative solutions. You always have to try to bring innovative ideas, creative ideas, which you want to nurture with the help of your startup. So that's all about startup. Slide, please. How to find an idea? Finding an idea is about ideation technique, which is one of the important steps of any design thinking process, which begins with ideation technique. Ideation refers to the innovative idea generation by observation. You would be able to find an idea. You are writing journals, writing research papers could be one of the means for finding an innovative idea. Socialize outside your normal circles, book reading, of course, and the internet browsing are the different means of finding an innovative and creative idea which you want to transform into business, where you also have to make use of disruptive kind of innovation which most of the startups have been using these days since last many years, where we have to generate some innovative solution in order to disrupt the existing market, and by using innovative business model concepts, we have to be ready with experimental proof of concept, which is a one kind of documentary proof that the idea on which you are going to work is innovative, is viable, also there. Next slide, please. Idea creation and diffusion. If we look at this, so innovative idea creation is very important. Without idea, nothing can be done, whether it is a startup or a business venture or any kind of enterprise which you want to run. And along with idea creation, diffusion goes on. If you look at this diffusion, you will see the quality versus time, which is on x-axis, and quality is lying on y-axis. You will see gradually over the time, this is the idea creation curve. There is a peak in the beginning where your quality is having, relevant, where you are getting one peak. After certain point of time, you are observing there is a dip in the curve where quality is going to degrade over the time, and after some time you will see you are coming out with some novel idea which is really very new. So that's the novel idea generation over the time, and definitely with novel idea you would be able to add some quality to your startup, to your product, to your service, whatever you want to offer into the market for commercialization, for revenue generation. So we have to be very careful about the quality of the product, quality of the service. Please do understand, you have to create, you have to generate some novel idea, and then you have to try to generate your prototype used for validation for in the market in order to collect the feedback from the consumer, and based on that you have to perform the number of iterations until you get the right and real product in your hands for commercialization. And after that stage, you have to think about the scaling up of your business. You have to scale up. You have to think about the growth of your business. You have to identify the potential customers who will be interested in buying your product or will be interested in using your online services or the web services, web-based services. So startup could be based on any kind of product or the service. Just like I am also working as a founder of one of the startups, Foodie A2Z 99 India Private Limited. I am one of the directors in this startup, and we are running the startup in food services. We are providing food services to the nearby areas successfully. If you look at the law, hello? If you look at the law of diffusion of innovation, so how the diffusion of innovation takes place, you will see I am talking about the idea diffusion. It is about 2.5% innovators. Gradually, you will see there are around 13.5 early adopters who might be interested in your startup, who will be showing some interest, who would be ready to provide you working capital for your financial assistance for your startup. In the beginning, early majority of 34%, you can see here through this law of diffusion of innovation. And later on, the majority is about 34%, and then around 16%. So it is, you have to be very careful when you are going to work with a startup. So you have to understand the law of diffusion. Look at this, how to find an innovative idea. We have to plot the impact versus time. Anything starts with the formulation of idea, implementation of idea, and finally the impact creation. So impact creation is very, very important, that how are you going to implement the concept, and based on that you would be able to create the impact for the society, for the consumer to whom you are going to sell your product or the service. So if you look at this time, when time is low and your impact is low, not priority. So here we are not having any kind of priority, but gradually over the time, when the time is high and your impact is low, in that case, you have to forget it. Your idea will not work. If you look at when the time is low and the impact is high, in that case, you have to go for it. You have to go for your idea. You have to perform the brainstorming, brainwriting sessions, and so many other techniques are there around us for ideation. When the time is again high and impact is also high, you can see the fourth block is there. In that case, this is the good time for long-term business. This is the right thing. When your time is high, your impact is high, means you have to generate innovative idea for long term, and you can run your business for a long run. So you can continue your startup. Hopefully your startup would be able to generate revenue. You can think of scaling up your business in the later stages of startup cycle. Next. So there are different challenges whenever we are working with any kind of startup, any kind of business venture or the enterprise. The most important one is how to deal with the intellectual property, because startup is usually about the development of innovative products, the generation of web-based services, but you have to be careful before you are going to disclose your invention, your industrial design, your intellectual property in front of the public. It is very important and imperative to understand you have to go for the patenting, you have to go for the intellectual property rights, you have to go for licensing. This is one of the important legal aspects to be considered when dealing with the startups. So let us look at the different types of IPRs existing around us and how can we protect all these with the help of the trademarks, trade secrets, geographical indication, patents, of course, copyrights, and of course, trade secrets. Next slide, please. So look at IP at a glance. No, just before this. IP at a glance, what is patent? It is a set of exclusive rights granted to a person for his or her invention. You must know any invention can be patented, but not the discovery. Discovery is never patentable. So during the patent filing, a set of rights is granted to you for your invention, for your industrial design, or whatever is patentable. If you go to trademark, trademark means it is a kind of sign used by the startups or the companies, a sign that is going to distinguish the goods or services of one enterprise from those of the others. So by using trademark, you would be able to differentiate your goods. Really work and your own, artistic be easily copyrighted, and different terms are there. For some years, you can get your copyright. I will be explaining later on with the help of the slides. A legal term used to describe the rights granted to a creator for his or her literary and artistic work. We have to use copyright. And you must see the symbol. Symbol is there, and where there is a circle around the C. So whenever anything is copyrighted, you will see this kind of symbol. So you have to understand this has got a copyright. Geographical indication is related to a place of origin where the good is being manufactured, like Mathura ke pede, is having geographical indication because Mathura ke pede are only famous in Mathura and are manufactured in Mathura only. So that particular company where this sweet is being manufactured must have gone for geographical indication, like Kolhapuri chappals, you must be knowing, are very popular and having geographical indication in Maharashtra. So it is related to a place of origin, and you have to apply for geographical indication. This is a sign again used on goods that have a specific geographical origin and possess characteristics that are essentially attributable to that place of origin. So I hope you must have understood any good or anything which is based on a particular place of origin, you have to go for a sign that is called GI, geographical indication. We can also go for industrial designs. It is relevant to the industry. And industrial design constitutes the ornamental, covering the ornamental aspects or aesthetic aspects of an article. As aesthetic aspects means related to the beauty of something, so industrial design is about ornamental design and sometimes related to the aesthetic architecture. And in that case, you have to go for industrial design because this is somehow covered under the patent also. But here, industrial design is being used as a separate entity. Next. So if you look at this, next please. So trademark, a quick exercise. So you can see McDonald's burger. Everybody is knowing, you must be recognizing this particular sign of M, McDonald's. So this is not the copyright. This is the trademark. And this is the trademark which is used by McDonald's, startup. So this way, the company is going to differentiate their burger, product from other companies' product. So they must have gone for trademark. If you look at the patent, it is about some invention which you have done. So invention can be patented. Copyright, you can see here, it is related to the artistic. So if any artistic thing is there, You can also go for the copywriting, not just artistic work, but you can go for laboratory, manuals. You can go for book copywriting, and book copywriting is most popularly known by us. But there are so many things which can be copyrighted. Trade secret, you can see here a Coca-Cola bottle. You can see it. So trade secret is about chemical formula. Whenever the company, Coca-Cola company, is going bottling plant, where that Coca-Cola is chemical formula is used by the company in order to make that particular liquid which is to be filled inside the bottle. The company must have used some chemical formula which they don't want to disclose in front of other people. So in that case, the Coca-Cola company must have gone for trade secret, where nobody can use that particular formula which is being used by Coca-Cola company. So you have to understand about trade secret. It is equally applicable to your research environment, let it be your chemical laboratory, chemical science. So whatever the formula you have developed, whatever the chemical solution you have developed, you can go for the trade secret, which you don't want to, you want to keep it a secret. So that's why you have to go for trade secret in that case. Next. A quick exercise, again, you can see the patent. I have told you invention, designs, or anything which is patentable can be patented before the disclosure, and the rights will be granted to you in that case if you are an inventor for that invention. Patent is about the design also. If you have designed, if you have developed some mobile phone with a very unique design, like Apple Corporation, iPhones are very popularly known in the world, and they are so expensive because of the unique and the sleek design features associated with Apple iPhones. And we are paying a hefty amount for purchasing these iPhones, and most of the Apple iPhones are patented. Copyright. So here you can see one dog is there. So this is very, artistic view. So you can go for a copyright. Procter and Gamble, P&G, is a sign, is again a thing of trademark, and the Procter and Gamble has used this P&G trademark in order to differentiate their company's goods from those of other companies' goods. So this way, you would be able to protect your intellectual property by undergoing patents, copyrights, trademarks, geographical indications, trade secrets, and industrial designs. Next. So if you look at this design patent, so a bucket is there, which you can see in order to carry something. So don't go for it, this is a bucket. This is not an original bucket, but having some kind of holes on the walls of it and a very, very unique design. So probably the inventor must have gone for its design. By one company. So trade sign. Then look at the below, you can see GI, geographical indication. This is Kolhapuri chappal, from Maharashtra. So this company has gone for geographical indication because this is originally manufactured in Maharashtra and it is related to a place of origin. So we have to go for geographical indication. Next to it is some kind of design which you can see related to the automobile industry. Definitely, we have to go for patenting this particular design. So these are the different, scenarios, different things which we have to understand for what kind of intellectual property right we have to go. That's why it is very important to understand the different types of IPRs. Next. Why to safeguard intellectual property? Commercialization to earn from licensing. So gradually we are going to sell the license to others in order to commercialize our product, in order to commercialize our services into the market. So once you have gone for a patenting, you have filed your patent is published, your patent is granted, and after that only you can sell your license to other parties in order to commercialize your product. Once this licensing is over, you have to gradually move to technological development and blocking competition. So of course, it is somewhat related to some innovative development of the new technology. And of course, you have to block the competition because you have to work in the red ocean where a number of competitors are existing around us with same kind of product, same kind of service in the market. If you have not undergone any kind of consumer survey, online survey, then definitely you won't be able to understand that same kind of product is existing in the market. And in that case, nobody will be interested in buying your product. Your idea will fail, your startup will die. Your startup will not succeed. Of course, startup will also fail in that case. So you have to be very careful. You have to empathize with the users. You have to gather the feedback from them, whether the developed product is acceptable to them or not. You have to check the economic feasibility also, whether you are going to sell your product at reduced price or not. Because if already innovative product is there and being sold at lower price, then who will be buying your product? Maybe nobody else. So you have to be very, very careful about consumer feedback. Once the technological development is over, you have to go for recognition and rewards. Rewards are very, very important. And we have to go for the brand building and to raise funds. The most important is about brand building. It is about your marketing, social media promotion, whether it is a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. As a startup founder, you have to do branding also. Once you have opened your startup as a owner of the startup, there is no guarantee that your startup will have some kind of success or not, because you have to do the marketing and branding as well for your product. Otherwise, nobody will be knowing which product you are going to sell and what you have developed. So until or unless you are going to bring awareness about your product into the market with the help of your strategic skills, your technical skills, with the help of your marketing team members. And you have to be very careful. I have already told you, fundraising is equally important for your startup. It could be any kind of crowdfunding approach. You can approach your relatives, friends in the beginning for any kind of funding support, because in the beginning, there are no angel investors, there are no venture capitalists, there are no successful entrepreneurs, there are no incubators, no accelerators who are going to help you out in your startup. So you have to be ready with your pitch deck in order to present in front of the people, early adopters who might be interested in your product, in your innovative idea, in order to provide you financial support for some period of time, and expecting some rewards also, expecting some financial gain also in turn. And you have to, some equity share is also there sometimes, and that is being decided mutually. What equity share will be there in this startup. So normally angel investors are not looking for any kind of profit in the beginning from the startups. So I would suggest to approach incubators or accelerators in order to get financial support, just like Atal incubation centers are there around the country. MSME-based incubation centers are there, and of course, Niti Aayog, Atal AICs, Atal incubation centers. So there are number of incubation centers around us, might be in your area, and these incubators can be approached for financial support and fundraising. Next. If we look at the IP flow, so we have to gradually move from, next please, next slide. IP flow is very important in any kind of startup. This is one of the legal issues. So validate. First, you have to generate your idea. Once you have generated your innovative and creative idea, you have to validate it. You cannot work on your idea until unless you have validated your idea. Once you have validated your idea, you have to think about your idea should not be disclosed in front of the public. And then once your idea is generated, you have to validate it by taking feedback from the consumers about your idea. You have to be very, very careful about the feasibility, technical feasibility of your idea, and commercial viability also. Whether it's an innovative idea, whether you would be able to generate innovative solution for this particular idea. So many things are there which you have to understand. Once you have really generated some innovative idea, you have to now think about filing of the patent because you want to protect it. So you will be going for the patent filing. Once the patent is being filed, it is being published by the Intellectual Property Office, Government of India, and thereafter it will be granted after the examination, and you would be able to get the rights for your patent. So after once this is over, you have to go for patent published. Once the patent has been filed, it is being published, patent will be published, and once it is being published, after a couple of months with the Indian Patent Office, your patent will be granted for a some period or for a some term defined for the patent. Once your patent has been granted, your patent valuation will be there, that whether your patent is having some value or not, whether you would be able to generate revenue with it, what unique and what additional benefits are associated with your patent. And of course, you have to go for the market research, for the market survey. Once you have evaluated your patent, you have come to know the value of your patent, and then you will be moving for market research. Once it is over, you have to now go for licensing the patent. Now you are going to license the patent and technology transfer, and you might sell your technology to the outside world, to the outside corporate world. If they are interested in your this product, they will be buying it. You will be selling the rights to the other outside party. You will be transferring your technology to the outside party for the commercialization. But do remember, technology transfer takes place only when you have something creative and innovative. Otherwise, it would be very difficult as a startup founder for having any kind of technology transfer, and even you won't be able to sell the license to the other parties. Next. So once we are over with this, we have to understand about market research. Next. Market research is equally important once your patent has been granted. You have to go, you have to understand your objective, your mission, and you have to know about the milestones also in order to reach your objective, in order to reach your destination, which you have predefined. Once you have defined your objective, you have to determine the research design. Once you have determined the research design, you have to gradually move to, you have to be ready, you have to prepare the research instrument with the help of which you are going to perform the research. Once you have developed the research instrument, in order to help you out in research activities, you have to collect the data, you have to gather the data in order to perform comprehensive analysis and synthesis for the purpose of synthesis. So you at number 4, you are going to gather the data, you are going to collect the market data. Once the data has been collected, you have to analyze the gathered data, you have to perform the analysis for the different purposes. And once you have analyzed the collected data, you have to visualize, and of course, you must have had some kind of findings from your analysis. Then it's the right time to communicate your findings to the outside world from your analysis of the collected data. I hope you must have understood clearly about the market research segment, how it can be correlated with the patents, intellectual property rights, and of course, the startups. Next. Market research approach, if you look at, it's a very holistic approach. If you look at primary approach, it is about interviews. It could be a telephonic interview. It could be a face-to-face physical interaction. It could be in the form of the online surveys, particularly during COVID-19 pandemic. It could be an online survey. Survey may also be conducted with the help of electronic mails. It could be in the form of questionnaires, and that questionnaire might be shared with others using online mode or electronic mails. We can also make use of social media platforms, social media handles like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, LinkedIn, where you can create your own LinkedIn profile. And this way, you can go for the primary approach. If you want to go for secondary approach, we have to make use of internal sources like balance sheets, profit and loss statements, inventory records, and of course, the sales figures. We can also make use of external sources like journals and magazines, industry and market data, annual reports, government database, demographics, and consumer data. So as a startup founder, you can also go for secondary approach. And I would say you have to understand your consumer very well. You must have not just demographic data of your consumer, but must have some sociographic data of your consumer so that you can understand their problems very well. And based on their problem statement, you have to perform the ideation, and thereafter you have to create some product, and then you have to go for commercialization. So this way, we have to proceed further. Next. If you look at the patent valuation, once your patent has been granted, you have to go for the patent valuation. Next. Objective of IP valuation is very important. We have to increase or to find the business value from the intellectual property through optimum management decisions. This is very important. We have to understand our business value from the intellectual property. How intellectual property is going to help out in the improvement of our business value. We have to try to raise funds. So fundraising, I have already told you, is very important, and securing the finances for your business venture. So it's very important to raise the funds in the beginning, because it could be it could not be a very profitable business in the beginning, and there are a number of steps during which you will be feeling very sad, particularly during the validation phase, testing phases, because that is the time when you are really not going to earn anything. But your product is undergoing the development, undergoing the validation phase, testing phase, and the consumer feedback. We have to assess the damage claims in business dissolution, infringement, and breach of contractual rights. So we have to be very, very careful. There should not be any kind of breaching of contractual rights from either side, and infringement is not allowed at all. So if you are going for intellectual property rights, there is no question of infringement. So if okay, so infringement, we have to be very, very careful about it. So once you have patented something, you need not to worry, and no more infringement will be there. In that case, no breaching will be there. Restructuring or liquidation procedure, as in mergers, acquisition, spin-offs, or bankruptcy. In that case, and a future unknown market will determine the value based on market demand and the supply dynamics. So we have to be very careful about the market demand and as well as the supply dynamics according to that. Next. IP valuation methods, if we look at, it is about quantitative analysis, qualitative analysis. So if we are going for quantitative analysis, what is it? This analysis helps to determine the monetary value of the patented technology for the given patents. But why? This provides worth of the patents. It is based on the future predictions of the patented technology. Parameters to be covered: cost-based method, market-based method, and income-based method. So this is quantitative analysis. But qualitative analysis is equally important. And what is it? This analysis is based on the bibliographic factors that have direct impact on the value of the patent, which includes citations, broadness of claims, etc. Why? This factor helps to determine the rating of patents amongst set of given patents. Parameters: legal strength of patent, technological strength of patent, and bibliographic strength of patent is about qualitative analysis. Next. If you look at legal status analysis, it is about patent status, legal position of the strength, patent term remaining, how many years are remaining, breadth of claim, geographical coverage, monitoring against infringements, legal proceedings, and enforcement means. Next. So many examples are there. If you look at it, any patent is being published, it is having a publication number, must be having a publication date, title, legal status will be shown as alive, and application and filing date will be there on which you filed your patent, and expected or approximate expiry date when your patent is going to expire after certain number of years. So this is one example. Next. Go next. Next. Qualitative analysis is about licensing agreements, unique technology, substitute technology, testing of the invention, production skills, pre-commercial term of development, marketing value, production of infringing copycats, and identifiable infringing products is about technology and market coverage approach. Next. Bibliographic factors are about number of independent claims, number of dependent claims, number of words in first independent claim, forward citations, backward citations, international family is about your bibliographic factors. Next. So if you look at this, hexagonal shape, it is about number of independent claims is 1, number of dependent claims are 3, Number of words in first claim 4, forward citations are 5, backward citations are 4, international family 5. So in totaling 22 out of 30. Next. Market-based method. The market-based valuation is based on the similar deals that took place in market. It is about comparison is performed on the basis of terms of utility, technological specifications, perception of market. This can include various patents, licensing deals, patent infringing cases, or patent litigation cases. Next. If you look at the examples, it is about, licensor company, licensee company, technologies, companies like Toyota is into my manufacturing, agreement type, license agreement, in which year it was done, 2016, and of how much worth, $20 million. So this way we are going to have dealing with licensor and licensee company for some years, and that agreement is to be signed in a particular area. Next. Cost-based method. It is two different techniques are used to measure cost. Reproduction cost method and replacement cost method are most popularly used. This method is not use driven, and the data used always refers to the past. Generally used to verify plausibility or to determine minimum price thresholds existing in the market. Next. Income-based method is based on income streams, estimate of patents useful life, patent-specific risk factors, royalty rates if any, and discount rates. Next. It is about licensing, is very important. Next. It starts with exclusive and non-exclusive licensing, compulsory and voluntary licensing, cross-licensing, carrot licensing, and stick licensing. So different kinds of licensing are existing around us. Next. License agreement between the two, an agreement to make, have made, use, export, offer for sale, sell licensed products in the field of use during the term. It is about licensee. What licensor, fee and royalties involved. License initiation fee, license maintenance fee, milestone payments, earned royalties. Next. Important components are there. It is about fee and royalties, confidentiality, term and terminations, patent prosecution and maintenance, infringements, limitation of liability, disclaimer of warranties, and of course, insurance. Next. Summary, it is about you have to protect your patent, you have to perform the market research, you have to do IP valuation, and then thereafter you have to go for licensing. Next. That's all about Dr. Gitashu. My PPT was only up to this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that was a very enlightening and a thought-provoking session, and it has definitely, benefited our budding entrepreneurs. So the house is open for any questions by the audience. Any questions? The session is open for questions. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. And I would like to take few more sessions because I have to explain this in more details.
Sure, sir. We'll be looking forward to more sessions with you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Shall I leave now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.